There's a play in New York City that you can buy tickets to right now. It's called October 7th, a verbatim play by Phelim, McAleer, and Anne McElhinney, who are both with us right now. How are you both?
Good morning. Good to be here.
Grateful you guys are here. Phelim, we'll start with you. Wonderful. We'll start with you, sir. What is this play? And why make a play? What does that do?
Well, this is, as you say, it's a verbatim play. So after October 7th, we went to Israel. We interviewed about 13 people, and we crafted the stories of that day, of the darkest day in Israel's history, into a play, into an on-stage drama, using only their words. So every word you hear on stage is a moment from that person's day of October 7th. Now, obviously there's a lot of tragedy, but there's also resilience, humor, hope. These are amazing stories. And some of the stories are connected, but you don't know that. It's kind of like the movie Crash, where everything starts out and then the stories become connected into this really compelling narrative, great stories, great drama. We wanted to put it on stage in New York because, that's where New York needs to hear it. New York needs to know this day happened. New York needs to know that the encampments in New York, that the campus protests in New York, they look at October 8th and beyond. What's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Palestine, that kind of thing. But there would be nothing in Gaza. People would be living in peace in Gaza now if it had not been for October 7th. So it's very important to remember there'd be no October 8th if it wasn't for October 7th.
That's right. And what story of the human experience, what aspect of it has inspired you or moved you through this play?
Oh my God, it's really difficult. It's very difficult to choose between the stories because every one of them is so powerful. There is one guy who does stand out. He works for Coca-Cola down very close to the border of Gaza, and he's very religious. So he had the telephone off, the radio off, because it was obviously this all happened on Shabbat, and then he heard this noise. He thought it was like thunder. He thought there was a storm. Looked out, saw there was no thunder. Realized quite quickly that they were under attack. Turned on the television. Realized that this was huge, and there was reports coming on the radio and stuff. And he said, "Who is going to save the young people at Nova Festival?" And he had installed the soda machines at the Nova Festival, so he knew about the party that was there with these thousands of young people dancing, peaceful kids dancing. So he said, who's going to save them? And he realized the answer was himself. And he made these forays over and over and over again in his van, piling these kids in, and saved almost 100 kids in that day, and regrets that he couldn't have saved more. I mean, it's just amazing. And he gets angry when people say to him, "Oh, you're marvelous, you're a great guy." He goes, anyone would do it, because he can't understand that impetus that people wouldn't have, and people would have been scared. And he says the most important, and it's quite amazing. He said maybe people will learn something about the Jewish religion, but the most important, the central, most important thing for a Jewish person to do, and the highest calling, is to save a soul. And so he did, and he's a wonderful standout to me.
And you sort of answered, but I want to ask so it's not true that everyone would do that, right?
Yeah.
The person who does it thinks that perhaps that everyone would do it, but they're not everyone.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, but you sort of answered, but if you maybe go a little deeper, because it was such a beautiful answer, is what is it inside that person who does that thing and then assumes, well, like, of course I did it. It wasn't even like a decision. Yeah. Of course, what is in that person? What is that?
Well, I think it's, at one level, I think he's deeply religious. I think this is a very Jewish impetus. It tells you something about the Jewish faith, that this is who they are. This is what matters. He's just, as I said, like, what's really great about him is, like, he works for Coca-Cola, has the van, very proud of the van, and just the way he even delivered the story, the way he told the story. And the wife was in the house, and she was receiving all these kids as they came. There's like 100 kids, basically, can you imagine?
Wow.
And she said they were so terrified. The young people were so terrified. Every noise, every smallest noise, they all jumped. because they had been through this worst thing ever, where the paragliders had arrived and started shooting from the sky at them. But yeah, he's just an incredible person, and a person of faith, and it's so important to him. I mean, I texted him the other day by accident, and he texted back, and I had made a mistake because I was showing someone photographs that he'd sent me of one of the kids had come back to thank him, and I accidentally phoned him, and he wrote back and he said, "Can't talk now, I'm praying." I was thinking, that's so him, Zaki Mizrahi from Patish, just a wonderful person, and he's one of the amazing people. But we also spoke to the kids from the Nova Festival, and they had extraordinary stories, as you can imagine.
Oh, I bet. Phelim, I saw you posted on your Twitter that after the performance, one of the real-life survivors of October 7th went up on stage and embraced the actress playing her. Is that what I'm looking here? Is that what I'm looking at here?
That's what you're looking at. Everyone was crying. Even all the actors were crying. I mean,
of course.
Jenny, who plays this woman, Shani, said, all along, she said, "This woman is my hero." I mean, she's a combat medic who almost died multiple times, witnessed horrible things, felt guilty that as a combat medic she couldn't help people, so she immediately re-enlisted in the IDF. She's just a strong woman, and so tiny, and she's 26. And again, she's found faith after the Nova Festival too. And she came up on stage, and Jenny just, burst into tears and said, "You're my hero." And the rest of the cast, everyone was crying. And it was just an amazing moment. And, that's what we have in this theatre is a piece of magic, is a piece of history. You talk about, we're journalists, our background is journalism. And we talk about journalism being the first draft of history. And here it is. And it's history that people need to see. They need to know. They need to bring their friends. It's something we need to get the word out that this is here. I mean, Andrew Breitbart said it more than anything. Politics is downstream of culture, and this is a cultural moment in New York. But by the way, it's the only play opening in New York that needs permanent police protection. Listen to that. There's a play about Jewish people, about Israel, opening in New York, and it's the only play in 2024 that needs police protection. The world has changed, let me tell you.
October 7, the number 7, October, the number 7, theplay.com to buy tickets or to donate or to learn more. October, number 7, theplay.com. Go see it. And last question, we got about 90 seconds. What do you want people to walk away with when they're done? And I love how, Phelim, you talked about, obviously there's the horrors of it all, but then you brought up like hope and love, and it's like what? And like the stories you've already shared today are so inspirational, and I don't know, maybe one wouldn't expect that, but what do you want people to walk away with, Anne?
But these are extraordinary people. I mean, I joked to the Shabbat dinner that I go to quite often in Santa Monica, but yeah, I think you are the chosen people. These are incredibly resilient people, and the stories are inspiring. I think people watch this play and they come away thinking, "Wow!" You don't come away broken. You come away thinking these are amazing people. These are amazing stories, and ultimately it's really inspirational. The whole thing. I mean, people are in tears. People laugh. But ultimately, it's a story of resilience. This is as one of the characters say. This is Abraham, our forefather, gave this country to us. This is the land of Israel for the people of Israel, for the Jewish people, and you've no doubt about that when you watch this play.
Thank you both for making art. Phelim McAleer and Anne McElhinney. The play is called October 7th, a verbatim play. October and then the number 7, theplay.com. Thank you both very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this.